Today we're going to be talking about caps, and I don't know what to call this thing that I'm doing here. For you, I guess we're calling it the Mike Z Design pencil cap, because I don't know what else to call it. The whole thing is a little ridiculous to me, but after thinking about it, I made the decision to make these caps. You guys might have saw I didn't do a Sunday night chat video this week. Instead, it was a short video. This woman, friend of mine, Carla, came out. She's a seamstress, and we deconstructed one of my World War II Marine Corps caps. They have that frog skin camo, that Pacific camo in the 40s. Interestingly, the modern Australian camo, very similar, which makes sense. Same part of the world. Anyhow, we deconstructed one of those to get a pattern. I chose that one because, and I'll explain why when I show you the details of these caps. And then I gave her the second one I had as a comparison. So when she sews the one together, the prototype, which you're about to see. So Carla made the prototype. It's still with her in Vegas. She sent me pictures. I'm going to share them with you right now. Yeah, looks adorable on her, right? I'll put another one of her towards the end of the video, just because I know she's got a bunch of fans now. There's a lot of guys like Carla. And I'll try to remember to put her YouTube link in the description of this video. I put it in the description of the other video. She only has a couple of videos up, but she's on it. She's going to start posting things up. So that's a prototype. She's also going to make me a sample, which will be cleaner. And then she's going to get these to me. Well, how do I talk about this? You know me, I don't prepare. I just start talking. So on eBay the other day, I also picked up this fabric, which we're going to open up and talk about. I'm going to show it to you. We're going to see if the listing was accurate. And I want to get into talk about the details of these caps. All right. Now this cap here I recently picked up. It's it's a train engineer style cap. It's not, real super high end. I put the snaps in here because after I fit it to my head, this was flapping around. So I put these snaps in to hold that in place. I put the grommets in because my head was overheating. And then right here is where we get to the pencil slot. So you see it here. You see it in here. I haven't put it in this one because I'm not really wearing this cap. Okay. Whenever I wear a cap in the videos and I got a pencil stuck in there, almost every one of those videos I get questions about that cap. Excuse me. Jesus, I've been sneezing and coughing up phlegm and all kinds of nut stuff here. Not nut stuff. I don't know where the hell that phrase just came from, but none of that. I've never coughed any of that up. All right, we're just gonna roll with this. So as I was saying, I get these comments on that. Where can I get that hat? Where can I get that hat? And I got to go through this process every stinking time of it's a World War II reproduction military cap, either the Army or the Marine Corps, and all I did was cut a slot in it so I could stick the pencil in there. Why did I do that? Because for years, you know what? This is ridiculous. There's a pile of pencils there all the time, and now they're all gone. All right. So for years, this was the deal. I'm working. I got the pencil behind my ear. Reach up, boom, 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 boom. I started wearing the cap more, and I didn't have a place to put the pencil, so I put the slot in it to put the pencil. That's not there to look cool. The pencil's not there to look cool. I'll tell you what it's there for. It's so I can reach up when I need a pencil. Secondly, when I'm walking around, I'm not in the shop and I got the pencil there. It's going to sound a little weird to people, but this is a serious weapon. Serious. You see how fat this pencil is. It's a stout pencil. It's got a nice pointy end on it. Well, a sharp stick is something that's been used by humans for thousands of years, tens of thousands of years. Pointy stick. You ever watch that show Alone? You got like so many items, they drop you off in the middle of nowhere and you got to survive. The first thing I would make is a pointy stick. A hiking stick with a pointy end on it. That's the first thing I would make. Just saying. Pointy stick. Boom. Now, it is getting warmer, so I won't be wearing a hat as much. I tend to like to wear a fat bandana rolled up here. That works for me. Top of my head breathes better when I'm working hard in the shop when it's warm. But we're talking about the caps now, so I'll stick to that. I want to explain some of the details on these caps, and then we're going to open up this fabric and talk about some of the other things we're about to do. All right? All right, so now these are Army caps. The way you tell the difference between the Army and the Marine Corps is the Marine Corps will have a square spot in the front, and the Army has a seam in the front. All right? Now, this is herringbone twill. You can see that in the pattern. And you have to remember now, these were, first of all, these are reproductions. They're accurate, well-made reproductions. As a matter of fact, this one's, so I took the tag out of this one, but here's there's even a copy of the original label in these things. So these were made during the war. They were very smartly designed. They're not designed to last forever, okay? They're designed to be robust and hold up. But the thing about the military is when you lose this or it wears out, you just get another one. They just give you another one. You can ask supply for another one whenever you want. So it's something to keep in mind. The design of this particular hat, it's designed where this, I don't know what to call it, but the part that wraps over your head, this big round part here, comes down, and this piece here, this band, is sewn over that. So if I go ahead and stick a pencil in here, you don't see it on the inside. You understand? It's between the actual hat, the top of the hat, and that band. And then they put this other band inside there just for comfortability. I think if they wanted to, they could probably stitch this part down to everything else as well. And that's what I asked Carla to do, and I think she did that. I won't know until I actually have the hat in my in person here. You guys will see that when it gets here. This hat was kind of designed, I suppose. I've seen many pictures of it used in this manner where you could put it on and then put your steel pot over it. So you could have this on while you're wearing your steel pot at the same time. I'm talking about your combat helmet at that time, World War II, which is the same helmet we had in the Marines. When I went in, we were just getting issued those new Kevlars, but in boot camp we still had the steel pots, and in infantry school we still had the steel pots. So just like it was in World War II. You can see the grommets here. Let your head breathe. This is nice and flexible. It's not stiff. We open this up. There's a material in here. I forget what it's called. There's a name for it that seamstresses know. And there's 2 layers of that in here that gives us enough stiffness, enough rigidity, so you can kind of shape it, and it kind of will retain that shape, whatever you do to it. The beauty of this hat is that I take this in the shower with me. I put soap in it, and I scrub it together, and I rinse it out, and I wring it out, and I dry it out, and boom. That's it. It's nice and clean, and I can keep wearing it. That's what I love about this style. This Marine Corps cover, this is what they were wearing back in the 70s, basically. This was given me by a guy. I'll try to remember to put a link in this description. I did a real fun video when I hung out with my buddy George. Boy, it could have been 2 years ago. It's at least a year ago. In Safford, Arizona. I think the video title is When Marine Vets Get Together. It's a funny story of me and George, how we beat the crap out of each other. And while we were at this bar, a guy walked up to us. He had a good 10 or 15 years on us, and he loved that we were hanging out, that we served together. And he came back from his truck, and he gave us each one of these caps that he had. The issue with this cap is this hard stiffener. I never took one of these apart. I don't know what that's made out of, but you can't mess with this too much. You know, the thing about the Marine Corps is with this, in the same way they stitched this, right? So this is already formed. I don't think the cap I had when I was in the Corps was stitched this way. I think we had to do that with an iron to make that look that good. We called it blocking, blocking your cover to look that way. But this is a cheap way, like, I don't know how to explain it. Cheap is the wrong thing to say. And now that I'm looking at this, too, I should have showed this to Carla. You see how this slopes down? It's higher in the front and shorter in the back. That's kind of interesting. This is for looks. I mean, it does a job, obviously. But this is far more practical, in my opinion. The problem is it doesn't look good. If everybody was wearing, you had 60 guys wearing this cap, they're all going to be shaped a little bit differently. Marine Corps doesn't like that. Marine Corps wants everybody to be the same, right? just a quick tangent here. Just bring this up because I was thinking about it. I watched a brawl with a bunch of Marines during the Marine Corps ball wearing their dress blues getting into a street fight. You can't fight in dress blues. I mean, a Marine will fight in anything. Fight naked, doesn't really matter. But dress blues are cut, tailored in a way where you cannot really move well in those things. It doesn't make any sense. If you look at uniforms, dress uniforms during World War II, most of them had pleats behind the shoulders so you could still move in them. And it's the same thing with these covers, right? So the way you wear your cover is exactly like this. 2 fingers over the bridge of the nose, and that's it. They want you to look like this, you know? Bam. Right? That's it. Every Marine looks exactly the same. That's what they want. It's about the look. That always bothered me. It should be about function more than that. Let's get back to some details on these hats here. Okay, so on this cap, which I like that this has way more volume than these caps. You guys know it's not about the cap. I say it all the time. It's about how you wear the cap. And I like to pull my cap down over the tops of my ears. So I like this one because it has more volume up in here. I don't like the adjustability part of it. And what I really don't like about it is this inside band, which gets real dirty. This is flimsy, thin stuff. I wash it in the shower like I do these caps. I don't worry about this one. It doesn't bother me to screw it up. But if you look here, let's stick the pencil through here. Well, you can see right through here. You see the white already. So when I put the pencil through here, look at that. So the way that this one was made cheaply compared to this one, where this headband piece is stitched over this part. On this one here, they meet right here at that seam. I guess they're saving fabric or something. So this pencil sometimes can poke through here. You'll see it sticking out of the side of my head like this when I'm wearing it sometimes. It's a problem. Now I could go in here and I could stitch a pocket in here and do all that work. I'm not going to go through to that trouble. Also, this being white, it shows the dirt real easy. And it looks dingy. You take your hat off, you toss it down like that, it just looks dingy to anybody else who's looking at it. I don't like that either. So the new caps that we're having made, that Carla has already made the prototype for, is going to be made exactly like this one with this inner band, and I believe we're stitching that down as well. So a lot of extra reinforcement there. Now, this whole, and okay, the big thing is, and you're going to see this, is you see here, all I did, now on this one here, so I sliced this open, at some point it ripped, so I had to stitch this back together, which I think looks cool. And I went ahead and stitched around this hole to keep it from tearing anymore. Typically they just look like this. And then this wears and wears and wears, and the hole gets larger and larger. It's like your mom. And so, you know what I'm saying here? So this is going to keep opening up, and then little threads get caught, and then the pencil gets caught on a thread, and it goes underneath, it goes out here like this from time to time, and I got to rip it open, and it just becomes a mess. So what we did was, with the new cap, is all we did was we did a buttonhole stitch here, just like a buttonhole on your shirt. So it's reinforced, it's a slot with a buttonhole stitch around it. We'll cut that open, now you stick the pencil in there, and now that's reinforced and it won't grow any larger. That's the big improvement. Also, it's going to have a pencil hole on both sides. So if you're left-handed or right-handed, you got a pencil slot there. That's the big improvement. It's basically going to be built like this one, but it's going to have the flat part in the front, not the seam, like the Marine Corps cover, and 2 pencil slots, 1 on each side. All right, so again, why am I going to all the trouble to make these caps? The main reason is I want a heavy-duty cap for myself. That's why. I want to learn how to make them myself, which is something else I have to talk about, which is money. What are these things going to cost? If I'm going to pay somebody like Carla to make a bunch of caps, it's not going to be cheap, which means if you want to buy one of these from me, it's not going to be inexpensive. You could buy one of these off eBay, I think, pretty inexpensively. I don't know what they cost. When I bought this, it could have been $10 or something. Honestly, I don't really remember. It could be $30. I don't remember. There's a guy in town out here in LA that makes high-end clothing. I can't remember his name. Apologize. But I have one of his caps that I bought from a friend in the box. I think I spent $50 on it. So you have to understand that, you know, a custom handmade item which you could say that's what these are. But that's designed correctly and stitched correctly, made out of quality fabric, it's not going to be inexpensive. So it won't be for everybody. I honestly believe that if I make 15 caps, you know, 5 larges, 5 mediums, 5 smalls, I think I'll probably have those for a long time. I wear the medium size in these. So I'll have them. I'd like to learn how to make them myself and all that. Here's another thing. What I already do for a living, right? You see this table here? When I'm working all day in the shop, I am beat up at the end of the day. If I'm working on somebody's house, I'm beat up at the end of the day. If I had to drive someplace and in traffic, I'm beat up at the end of the day and I'm frustrated by the time I get home. I don't have the energy to sit there in front of a machine and sew all night after that. Even the leather work. Since I made that press, right, to do the stitching and everything else, it's this modified arbor press. I modified it myself so I could use my pricking irons to make holes in leather or set snaps and all that. I haven't used it. Since I made that, haven't used it. I haven't done any leather work. Just because I've been so busy with other things and phone calls and everything else, just don't have the energy for it. I'm doing a half day here at the shop today and it's already pretty late. I don't think I'm going to get any work done on this table today. Because this morning I tried to get some things done, didn't get anything accomplished really, other than learning what I need to do to get these other things done now. So it's just been one of those days. So those things happen. The whole reason why I'm doing the caps, and I want to do a shirt, which we're going to get to this fabric in a moment. I want to do a heavy duty pullover like that denim one you see me wearing. That's a reproduction from World War I that the Army wore. Is that I believe I can make something that's better. This is my talent. It doesn't just apply to clothing. And by the way, this is not something new. You're looking at me and you're probably thinking, this guy does bicycle, he does furniture, he does the photography thing. There's all these different things. You know, the Astrovan stuff, you know, some people want you to stay in a lane. I can't do that. I'm a creative guy, I'm an artist, and I make cool stuff, and people give me money for it when I'm done with it. That's just how my life is. But my real talent is I can look at anything, and I can see how to make it better. I can see how to make it look better. I can see how to make it function better. It's a skill. It's also annoying to a lot of people. It's real annoying. You got a deck put on your house, it's been there for like a week, and I show up and I go, oh, yeah, well, that wasn't done right. It's not good. You know, if I'm friends with you and I see you do something, or you're in the middle of doing something, like I love this guy Jordan Sargent, Sarge Inc. I left a comment on one of his recent videos, like, dude, you're supposed to call me before you do this, because I could have saved him a ton of aggravation, kind of made sure he got a better part and that sort of thing. I'm just weird like that. So this hat that I've designed, that I'm having made, is going to be a much better version than all of these caps sitting here. It's going to be heavy duty. It's going to last a lot longer because of the way it's made. All right. I want to do a pullover work shirt. I think if you look at vintage workwear, you'll probably see one. I don't know what it's called. There's probably a name for this style shirt. I know there is, and I can't recall what it is. But if you know, please type it down there. You'll see it in a hickory stripe pattern, which is what I'm wearing here. A lot of people call that hickory stripe. It's basically, it's got enough room to move in, and it unbuttons down to about here. So it's easy to take on and off, and it's usually got a couple chest pockets. That's the basis of it. A lot of times you'll have elbow patches. It's got like an extra piece of fabric here where you can adjust it to tighten it all the way up, but you can adjust it so it's not, you know, biting down on your neck. And it's got a few little details on it that denote it as a work shirt. This fabric I bought, again, we're going to take that out in a minute, is a herringbone twill that's lightweight enough where I can make shirts out of it, and that's what's going to happen. I want to make it because it's very difficult to find this shirt with all the details that I want to put into it. The whole reason I do everything the way I do, the whole thing with the van, it doesn't matter what it is. I can look at what's available, and I'll look at, let's say there's 3 or 4 versions of an item that I'm interested in. Well, not a single one of those items will have all the details in one item. will have 2 or 3 details I really like, but they're lacking the detail that's in this one that I really like that doesn't have one of the details that that one has. You understand what I'm saying? So I want to put everything in that I think is correct, that I think makes sense, in one item. So you don't have to shop anywhere else. You don't have to keep looking. You don't have to do any comparison shopping. It's Mike Z Design, get that. That's the one you want because that's the best one. Period. That's just how it is. That's how my brain works. Now, I'm really doing this for myself. I'm doing it because I'll have some cool caps for myself. I'll have the shirts for myself. I'll have the pullover jacket for myself. I'm working on a waxed cotton jacket, which apparently, which I had no idea, seems to be a staple of every friggin' hipster's closet these days. A rugged looking waxed canvas jacket. Man, I've been watching videos on this and looking at them, and every time I look at it, I go, okay, it's neat, I see that. You know, you want to line it with a cotton because you don't want that wax cloth up against your skin. It's more comfortable if it's lined. But I was looking at one the other day. The whole purpose for a wax canvas jacket is you put it on if it's raining. That's the idea. It's waterproof. It should be waterproof. You can watch a lot of videos. A lot of these jackets are not waterproof, but many of them are. And I was watching this one, and the guy was talking about how he loved it because it had all these pockets. Not a single one of the pockets had a cover, a flap over it. I'm thinking, well, if it rains, every one of those pockets is going to fill up with water. You see what I'm saying here? It's like, you think it out, man. There are products that exist that already cost a lot of money, and they're not really designed well. They're designed to look cool. They can be made with the correct materials. They could be stitched well. They could be reinforced with rivets, have all the cool accoutrement. But the function of it actually isn't correct. And a lot of these things are cut way too slim. Look at me. I'm not a slim cut dude. I'm not a slim guy. I'm more of a bulky guy. I can't stand when I buy something that's just too tight, doesn't work on me. And if I have to buy the bigger size, it's just too big everywhere. Like Carla measured me. I had 48.5-inch chest at this point in time. It's crazy. I was too big in the midsection, by the way, so I haven't eaten any sugar since she was here, and I know I've slimmed up a little bit. Yeah, so I'm not a slim guy. I need to be able to move in it. So anything that I make, it's going to be coming from me. It's going to be cut to move in. All right? I suppose there could be a difference in sizes. I'll talk to her about that. There's this thing that is in the terminology called a block. You make the block, which is the original pattern, and then from that, all the sizes could be derived from it, right? So you could scale those parts up and down to make the different sizes. So we'll see about that. I'm also possibly thinking about, when it comes to shirts or jackets, of putting the pleat in here, so when you move, the fabric opens, so you've got the room to move, all right? But the bottom line is, it's going to be triple needle stitched. There's going to be a hanging loop on it. I got an idea for cuffs that'll make it easier to roll things up where it won't get too fat on you before you get it high enough. I might make a version of that shirt too that only comes to here. I like that idea. It's easier to move in. It breathes better when you're working. James Krenov, I've mentioned him before. If you look at pictures of him later in life when he's working, he's always wearing this kind of grayish color corduroy shirt where the sleeves are cropped to here. A lot of carpenters do that. I've done that to my shirts and sweatshirts over the years. Old pictures of me going back 20 years or more, you'll see me working where I've cut those shirts off. So those things are in my mind as well. But the bottom line is these things are coming. You're about to see it. I'm going to show you Carla again in the hat because she looks so adorable in it. You've already seen the prototype. I think I'll show it again here at the end. And that's it. You know, I just wanted to give you guys the update. The prototype hat is made. The sample should be making hopefully soon. This is tough for her this time of year because her daughter's out of school, summertime, so she doesn't have as much time to work on her stuff, which is a little bit of a bummer for me and you. It means we have to wait a little bit longer, but it's okay. It's worth it. Quality is worth waiting for. So that's it. That's the reason. I'm making them because people keep asking me about them. I'm making them because I want to make something that's better made than anything else I've seen before. And believe me, I've looked. I've got tons of hats. I know. I've looked. I've looked for. Same thing with the aprons. We're going to be making my aprons that I've been wearing here forever. well, I say forever. I designed these a few years ago and had a woman make them for me. And there's a lot of there's videos on this too. The Mike Z Design apron, shop apron. A lot of smart ideas in here. This is one of the prototypes. I had 2 of them. And I'm gonna change this a hair. There's a few little details I'm gonna change on it. But this is the most comfortable apron and makes the most sense if you're a woodworker in particular, working in a shop atmosphere. Really smart ideas in this apron. So I want to make these available. I've got, ever since I did the videos on these, once in a while somebody hits me up on that as well. Also in private comments. It's not like you're going to always see that in the comments under the video. I get a lot of emails on stuff. So I want to do the aprons. We're going to do the caps. We're going to do a pullover shirt. We're probably going to do the pullover denim, mainly because I want a better version of it for myself. And I really like the idea of a waxed canvas jacket. That's going to be cool, man. Like some of the ideas I have for that, they're going to be really cool and very smart. Be smartly well designed and built tough. Everything in my life is built tough. Oh, I was going to sign off, but I haven't even checked out this fabric yet. Let me see if this camera's adjusted right. Let's do this. I'm going to get behind this table here. There we go. Let's just do that. Let's open this up. Now this is supposed to be, oh, wow. I don't have my knife on me. That's rare. I've always got a pocket knife on me. Don't go anywhere. Okay. This will work. This is supposed to be 8 yards of material by about 60 inches or 62 inches. And I couldn't believe it. I went online and I started looking, and most of the fabric is sold by the yard. And the yard price, it can be $14, it could be $40. And a yard is really not enough material to do much, depending on the width. That's the interesting thing. And when they say yard, that should be 36 inches approximately, right? 36 inches, 3 feet a yard. But then they'll say it's only 21 inches wide. Or they'll say it's 40 inches wide, 42 inches wide, or 60 or 62 inches wide. You have to read all of that. Dar. Another dar moment for your video here. So let's put the pencil where it belongs. Stick this on the side here. Let's just see if this was accurate. It feels like it's accurate. There we go. This is look at that blue. That's the side that goes out. This is herringbone twill. This is the great thing about herringbone twill is if you cut it, it won't continue to tear. That's why the military used it. And this is 100% cotton. I think this is accurate. Let's not unfold it that way yet. Let's just try to get the length right. This table is just under 6 feet. 70 inches. 72 would be 6 feet. So, yeah, I think this is correct. They said 8 yards, so there's about 6. We got 12. That's it, man. 18, 24 feet. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's 24 feet of fabric by let's do it this way so I don't turn my back to you. It's supposed to be 62 inches. Smells interesting. Smells like it was stored in some grandma's house. No smoke, which is nice. Of course, I have a tape measure sitting right here, and I should have. I'm so pro. This looks right. 60 3/4. That's a crap ton of material. I paid, I think with shipping was around 40 bucks. That's incredible. That is an incredible deal. Let's get a close look on this for you. Here's the back side of it. So you can clearly see herringbone twill pattern. And here's the front. And again, this is thin. This is the perfect weight for a shirt. I mean, this would feel great. Just lay on your body real nice, and it's going to breathe. Now, this is a pocket I cut off of one of those utility overalls that we're making the hat out of. And this is much, much thicker. Obviously, you can't tell from the screen. When I bend that, you get that. When I bend this, you get this. I mean, it's a lot thinner. It's a lot thinner. So what that means is if we're going to make a hat out of this, what that means, don't go anywhere, is that we can mimic what happened here. Okay? What they do with this cap, because this material is so thin, is that this is double layered. There's 2 layers to this. So I think if we make caps out of this material here, that's what we'll do. We'll double layer that because it's going to give it a little bit more body. And well, you know, it's interesting. Look at this. It might be triple layered up here. You see how there's no stitching here? But on the inside, it's stitched this way and this way. And this feels very thick up here. That might be triple layered on this cap. So that's interesting. I'd hate to deconstruct this one. It's just too cool. Anyhow, I'm pretty stoked about this fabric. It's the right color and everything. It would be too thin for a jacket, but it's going to be perfect for a shirt. And you know what's interesting? I don't mind the way that looks. It's a little busy. Yeah, I guess I wouldn't want that on the outside. The blue is going to be nice. This was listed as an indigo blue. You tell me. It's pretty good contrast here with the wood, the brown of the wood, and the green of the cap. Should give you a pretty good color reference for this on screen. Anyhow, that's going to be it. That's going to be it. We'll see how this goes. I'm hoping Carla's reasonable enough to just make the caps. I tried to sew with that new machine I got. I might include a clip of that here towards the end of me walking out with this machine. Carla sent me the clip. She used that to sew the parts. We just ran out of time on Sunday for her to actually get the whole hat together. So she took everything home with her, and I gave her enough to sew a second hat, hopefully. And I tried to use the machine the next night or the night after that, and I bent the needle, and then I broke a second needle. And I discovered, my buddy Chad told me I got to go on eBay and find needles that are made in Italy or Germany or something like that, heavy-duty sewing needles that will hold up, because he sews leather and everything. So I need to get some new needles for the sewing machine, and then I can start playing with that myself. I wouldn't mind getting a little tutorial from Carla once I get the pattern, and maybe I could sit up at night and get to the point where I could knock a hat out pretty quick, and maybe I could knock a hat out at night once in a while, and before you know it, I could have a little stockpile of caps. And then I, of course, between what I have to pay her or whether I do it myself, I have to come up with a number that's fair enough for you to spend the money on. One other point on the hat, as far as the details on it, people mention putting leather on the inside as the liner against your head. I don't like that. The leather sweats up against your skin. And me, I'm constantly taking that hat off to wipe down my forehead or wipe down the leather. I would rather have fabric because it absorbs the sweat, and then you take the hat with you right in the shower at night, put some soap on it, scrub it up, you hang it, you wring it out, you hang it. Next morning you get up, it's dry enough to wear to work. So that's to me, that's more practical. If that made sense, the military would have put leather on the inside of all the utility caps. They don't. They don't for a reason. So when you see these high-end hats, and I'm not talking fedoras, that's different. That's a different thing. You want the leather there, it makes sense. But when you see a fabric cap that's got leather sewn on the inside and somebody's asking $100 or more for it, you're going to be constantly popping that hat off to wipe the sweat off of it. And that makes no sense in my mind. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. This is just a quick talk up, letting you know what's coming down the pike. It's definitely happening. I don't know what this is going to do to my life, if it's going to really make any sense. It might be a waste of time. It's not a waste of time, because I'm going to get out of it what I personally want out of it. And you get to see what I'm doing here. And if nothing else, maybe this will spark you to be like, hey, this guy made his own stuff. I can make my own stuff. You could do it. And there's so many people out there. I know a lot of women that are seamstresses, and they make their own clothes for themselves and their kids and everything else. A friend of mine, I sent her something to make for me. The woman who made my aprons, same thing. You probably, I wouldn't doubt it, you might have somebody in your family that could do this for you as well. So it's neat. It's a neat thing. It used to be a weird thing for kids if your parents or your grandparents made your clothes for you, because you wanted what everybody else had. You wanted the we're brainwashed into thinking you need when I was a kid, the Jordache jeans and things like this. No, man. If it's well made and it's heavy duty and it's classic style, and somebody you know made it for you, and it fits right and it performs the way it's supposed to, that's way cooler than spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on a garment just because it's got a label and some famous person is wearing it. That makes no sense to me. That's it now. Goodbye. I'm going to try to get some work done here, be somewhat productive on this table before I get out of here. I hope you enjoyed this. Enjoyed a little clip of me with the sewing machine here at the end, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Be good to one another.